guys, and welcome to this one. We are this one today is going to be a very subtle one. We are going to be looking at summation of arrays, but obviously, as usual, we are going to be learning something important. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. Let's get into it. So basically, we are looking at summation of arrays. Basically, what are we thinking? We are thinking reduction. This is a reduction problem. The goal is to recursively call the summation function on smaller and smaller versions of the array until there is nothing left to process. Every recursion call reduces the problem size by one element. Let's see what we mean by this. So we say the summation of arrays. We call it entering the function observe the current state of the array. So basically that's what we're trying to do with our first breaker point. Our this thing is coming. It's going to pick it up very soon. Which is gracias. Yeah. So let's transverse and see. Mm, so our base case is going to be when once the array is empty, there is nothing left to add, right? So basically we are going to be going through the array and we're going to be popping out values up until the length of our array becomes 0. Then we'll return 0. Now in our second breaker point, say before the recursion call, notice that the array at the index of 0 is kept for letter. Okay, and then array at index of 1 to the end becomes the smaller problem. So basically what are we doing? We are taking out the first value and we are taking the rest of the array and we are calling summation on it again while keeping this guy at bay. Now, or just basically keeping it aside, and then we are add the first value to the summation of something else, of everything else. So summation of everything else plus the summation of the first value. So it's as if we are taking out the first index and then subsequently adding its value to the value of the remaining index, right? And then we could see here what the values are. So let's just transverse and see. Okay. Okay, so here we see that the array is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Let us now see how that goes. So we see that it's dropping. The value of the array is dropping. I think one thing we're not holding anything for index, but we can see that the value of the array is dropping as we go into the recursion tree. I don't know if there's anything that can show us the recursion tree, but yeah. Function variables, special variables, name, blah, 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 blah. I don't think there's anything here that can show us. I might be wrong, but what you will notice is that the array is changing. So we are going down and deeper into the recursion tree, and for every time we go into the recursion tree, we take away the first integer, that's the array at index of 0, and then allow the rest. So you see every time I click here, 3 goes away, array remains this thing, because what we are doing is we are trying to add. So at the latter end we'll have 4 plus 9, if you understand what I'm saying. So you see we keep going and going and going and boom, right? Now we are going back up the tree now, right? We're going back up the tree. So we now see our summation building here. You can now see our summation building here, right? It's a return summation. So this is the values that are returning. 3 is being added. We are now adding finally back to this area that we left here. So you can see it increasing, this 22, this 25. So this is what I'm really looking at, right? 25, and then we could see subsequently that we get done that our this is 28, and boom, we are good. Okay, this one is this is our optimized approach. So basically that's the word on the street. Now, so that's how that's the this thing we take on here. Now one might look at this and say, this looks like an O of n, it function call, because we go down on a linear, we go down linearly on the tree, right? By saying, okay, let me see, let me show you this, right? So we go down linearly on the tree. You could see that we keep going down linearly. We just calling one function, and we're going down linearly on the tree. The tree is like more of a linear tree, right? But what we see is something that I want us to like be mindful about when dealing with, the memory, right? It's just this next pass. Now, say initial thought. This looks like O of n because we visit every element once. Correction. This is actually O of n squared time complexity. Why? Because slicing is not free. Every call creates a brand new array. This, right? This is the real killer here, right? And it takes O of it takes the amount of value within it to create that slicing. It says example 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 to 5 creates 2 2 to 5, and 2 2 to 5 creates 3 2 to 5, and this finally gives this formula here: n minus less than 1 up to it gets to 1, which equals O of n squared. So this is the actual time complexity, or the time let's say charge, or yeah, the cost, the real cost of these things, O of n squared. And that is what we have as our time complexity for this first iteration. Now we are going to look at the vector approach and the optimized approach subsequently, but for this video, this is the brute force, more like very wasteful approach to solving this problem. So muchas gracias. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. See you on the next one.